Let's get it started. You. Let's get it started. You. You. Let's get it started. You. Everybody wants to play the sport to win the goals, and maybe just to rule the world. The other just want to pull you in to cash the win, and maybe just to pick up a girl.
Hi YouTube. Have you ever seen one of those like statuses where they're talking about that people are bitching about welfare recipients receiving being drug tested for before they receive assistance? Well, people are claiming it's unconstitutional. But if I got to do it and I got to work for a living, then you shouldn't be complaining about it. First of all, that person whoever posted anything like that, bullshit. Let me tell you why. Actually, I'll get right into it. I remember when a Facebook friend of mine did a similar status and said, drug testing for welfare recipients, genius. I looked at the post and thought, he probably never needed food stamps. He grew up in a middle-class suburb at a time when the middle class was roaring like a freight train all over this country. He's a white gay man who doesn't know the realities of those on food stamps, more than likely. And most people who support this view may come from a few vantage points. They may think that that food stamp recipients are lazy. Now, I myself qualified for them while I wasn't working, but I was collecting unemployment and looking for work. The food stamp recipients are all drug users. States that have implemented such policies does not bear out that view. It is not true. It is a lie. And that somehow, if you are on assistance, you must be using drugs. That somehow, somehow it is the indicator. But again, that is a lie. Simply put, this is a conservative view that a man who lobbied for marriage equality parroted on his page. I don't see how someone getting about $1,000 a year through food stamps could crash the economy, but Walmart and General Electric getting millions of dollars while paying in refunds, while paying no taxes, somehow gives the economy a boost. But speaking of economy, the more states that pass these bills, the more I'm thinking of one particular organization, ALEC. American Legislative Exchange Council is responsible for the Stand Your Ground laws and is a corporate interest group that is pushing legislation like this to promote profit at the people's expense. This smacks of ALEC's stamp of approval, especially since Republican-led legislatures are putting this into law. But also, let me also mention Chris Christie and Rand Paul. Remember when Rand Paul criticized Chris Christie for the gimme about the Hurricane Sandy money from Washington? And Chris Christie said, hey, let's also remember that Kentucky, his state, is a welfare state. Florida is among one of them, just like the tax dodgers are welfare queens and kings. But it's notorious for being the first states that implemented this and of people being tested for drugs before receiving assistance. But I want you to know, how many people failed the test? What percentage of Floridians failed their drug test? That's it, 2%. And there's another report on Addicting Info that said welfare white and drugless. It shows that welfare recipients are less likely to use drugs than the general population. But also, like Rick Perry's sister, who will get rich from the new abortion law, Governor Scott stood to gain money from this law and transferred his property into his wife's name so that it would, either way, it was shady. Now, I also believe that when the recipient passes the test that they will be reimbursed, but this whole welfare recipients in drugs is the same conservative bullshit that we've been dealing with since Ronald Reagan's famous welfare queen speech. Even though it's been debunked for years, it still fits into a narrative that despises the poor while refusing to acknowledge the deeper socioeconomic status issues as well as poorly financed communities. Not only is it a bad idea, it's saying you're poor, so you must use drugs, and I'm going to ridicule you when you need assistance. I'm not going to give you a hand up. I'm just going to kick you down like a crab. Another part of these laws that I'm suspicious of is how will they implement or justify these tests? Will we have a rogue social workers on the lookout for suspicion of drug use and say we're testing you for probable cause? Does some of the legislation have referrals to a treatment facility? Or what if they have kids? Will they be able to let another member of the household apply for assistance for some of them? I believe Florida does have that kind of in so that children will be able to get those benefits. But these seem to be another way to continue the failed, quote, war on drugs that was waged during the Reagan years. It simply meant not tough on cocaine, but crack and urban drugs. But what about the war on poverty? When we fought that war, we won. Poverty went down. This definitely is not the way to go. The best way to go is increase the monthly benefits. They're not enough to feed a family. I don't care what anybody says. It's not, okay? Most of those benefits are usually gone by week 3. And we can close a loophole or end a tax subsidy to businesses to pay for it, i.e. Exxon, Mobil, Sunoco, Gulf. All of those oil companies, we can take that away and more than fund 5 times over the SNAP program. So anybody who says that the SNAP program costs more than oil subsidies, bullshit. Number 2, investing in education and free classes for adult education, not private ones. This includes white and blue collar jobs as well as vocational schools for skilled labor. If you offer free education and pay the teachers with grants, I am sure we will find those classes full. We will find them eager and willing to learn these new skills, get their certifications, and move on up the ladder. 3, funding urban schools the same way we do suburban ones. Our cities are a hub that could bring great things to the neighboring suburbs. Fully fund things like infrastructure, which consists of roads, bridges, public transportation. This creates jobs not only for the construction crew and having education and free training programs for them. And I would propose that if they miss 3 classes, they must pay for it. I am definitely in favor of that because that says, you have to take responsibility. But that construction job can also put more into local businesses. See what we can do to make sure city construction is done by companies that hire local city dwellers and other things. Raising the minimum wage. Many people who claim that they can live off of minimum wage probably isn't living off of it right now. They don't know how hard it is. I say the minimum wage should be close to $12, and according to an Economic Policy Institute research and ideas for shared prosperity, they say that if the minimum wage kept pace with inflation and cost of living, it would be around $19. Senator Elizabeth Warren puts it at $22, but I say it should at least be $20. 7, close corporate loopholes and put those monies into many of those things that I stated earlier, and we would see our economy turn around. I say that in urban areas, we should also put solar panels on places like shared housing and put forth a program where we'll be able to teach people how to harvest this energy, harvest this electricity and sell it to companies. They do that in Germany. And this is also an interesting one too, encouraging neighborhood gardens like Massachusetts Street Market, I believe, so that it can become a place where the neighborhood can get fruits and vegetables at appropriate seasons. It is easier to find a gun than it is to find fruits and vegetables in the city. We know this. And also teach children how to grow indoor fruits and vegetables if possible. That gives them a connection to their food. And we can see, and this could lead to great possibilities. I can see it. All of these urban farms and lawns, backyards, on rooftops, this could decrease a great deal of hunger. Okay? It also gives children a skill to hone. We can also reach out to broad coalitions to make some of this possible. Working partnerships can definitely bring folks together around a common goal that otherwise would be unmet. One local solution I would put is we got to get rid of NFTA. They are acting crazy. And like we could do it like it was before. So, the company has a contract with the city, and we have citywide public transit with a few routes going on after midnight. We can find out, okay, where's the demand for overnight? Does someone, or even possibly those buses will run every 45 minutes to an hour, kind of like Sunday service. But that's a whole nother subject. So besides blaming the poor for being poor and rigging the tax code against us, conservative narrative will never come to offering real solutions. Their ideas are old, they are bad, and they work only in abstractions. They never work. We need to find a real solution to hunger. Just to blaming the hungry and saying they're not worth it while telling the Koch brothers and Alec to pass the shrimp, that is the abomination of the ages. I will see you later, YouTube. Have a great day.